Meet Zoomlock, the 10-second flame-free refrigerant fitting from Parker. Reduce labor costs by 60% with no brazing, no flame, and no fire spotter. Discover how Zoomlock can help you be more efficient and productive. Visit Zoomlock.com for more information.
Those of us with dirty hands, blood stains intertwine, right away each morning to grind it out another time. The faces in the mirror, and not as young as they once were, but they're proud, they're proud.
Morning, guys. It's Monday morning, about 7:30, and I'm headed over to go install my first inverter system. So I'm very excited. It's a 5-ton Comfort Maker heat pump, 5-stage inverter. I do have the Zoomlock on hand, but I'm gonna braze this inverter. Reason being is this is my first inverter and I don't have enough experience with the Zoomlock to feel comfortable on an inverter system because of the amount of money that the customer is spending. I just don't feel comfortable Zoomlocking it, and I don't want any trouble with this inverter. This is a good customer, very nice man. He's spending a lot of money with me, and I just don't want any issues. Not saying that the Zoomlock would give any. I'm not sitting here dogging the Zoomlock or saying that I don't believe in the Zoomlock. I know it might sound like that, but that's not the case. It's just that I don't have enough experience with the tool. I used it the other day on that Lennox coil, and I had a leak on the liquid line, because I crimped it wrong. It was my fault. So if this wouldn't be an inverter in such a high dollar system, that would be different. Once I get more comfortable with the tool, then yeah, definitely. Now I do have another change out to do Wednesday, and it is a budget job. It's a flip house, and we're actually doing air temp equipment. The guy, I do houses for him every once in a while. He doesn't flip a lot in a year. He only does maybe a handful within a year's time. Maybe not even that many. He knows that I sell ICP. This guy's smart. He knows about the 410A and the R22. He knows that Comfort Maker is the same thing as Carrier. Blah, blah, blah. He's not stupid. So most of the time, he'll get me to change the system out, because the system that's on this house that we're doing Wednesday, it's old. So he didn't even want me to try to look at it. He just wanted to replace it. So I know that when he calls me, like the other day, he's like, look, man, you know the drill. None of that Carrier Comfort Maker stuff, something cheap. And I used to put Goodman on his places, and he's like, just put me a Goodman. I said, well, I don't do Goodman no more. And I told him why, and he said, okay, well, you got anything else? I said, yeah, I got something that's actually cheaper than Goodman. He's like, hey, that'll work. If it's cheaper than Goodman and it's cheap, throw it in there. And of course, I'm talking about air temp from Maury Michael. So the air temp, he's fine with that. Now I will more than likely Zoomlock that system. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on too long. I'm at the store. I'm about to fill up my ice chest. I need plenty of water. It's going to be a hot day today. But we'll talk more about that as the job comes about. But we'll see you guys when we get to the job site on this inverter. All right, guys, this is what the inverter is taking the place of. Here's our communicating air handler. It's a FCM instead of a FEM like I normally use. The C stands for communicating. And there is the inverter. The 5-tons are pretty big. I know these are usually pretty small, but a 5-ton is a pretty good sized unit. And there you see CVH 860, variable speed. So we are going to, and then I got the air temp system in the back for Wednesday. So we're gonna, I've already got the condenser cut loose as you saw. I'm gonna unload this. I've got a couple hands in the attic helping me. They're tearing out the attic, and I'm gonna get started on the outside. All right guys, here's the inverter sitting in place from top to bottom there. I have my copper piped in, it's all sanded up. I'm about to go get my nitrogen and flow it. And I'm gonna braze these two lines together and then hook up the electrical, and everything will be done out here. But very, very nice. Very different, but very impressive also. I'm looking forward to seeing this thing run, that's for sure.
Apocalypse, learn that guns are powerless, burn cities with a kiss. Still we have lessons to be learned. We toss and turn in beds to be burned. Love must be for peacefulness. Drain ourselves of substance. Probe our hearts with bullets. I only make love in the ocean. Waves they cover and soothe. Pleasure and humbleness too. Still we have candles to watch die. We break, we build, stronger every time.
Here's a shot of the old stuff we took out. Yeah, you can tell she's gone. There's the back. Leaking freon like crazy. There's the cabinet. It's all rusted out. Old frame. Doors black, just about. That coil is horrible. Well, he's not gonna know what to do with this inverter. Alright guys, I got the inverter in a vacuum. I've just started it. I'm not getting the best footage. I'm trying to get y'all what I can though. It is very hot. That attic. I didn't even think to take my thermometer out. I'm exhausted already. It's hot in that attic. I just got out of there. All we got left to do is tie on the return plenum to the media filter. Low voltage is done, high voltage, everything else is done. So we're almost ready to fire this thing up as soon as this vacuum's done. So we're gonna let this vacuum cool. Starting to register some microns now. And As long as we get a good vacuum, we'll release the gas and start the inverter up. All right, guys, down to 174. We're gonna valve off. There's one. There's two. They're both valved off. Looks like it wants to hold at about 309. That's perfect. I'll let it hold there for about 10 minutes or so. If it don't rise any more than that, 311, 312, I think we're gonna be okay. All right, guys, I got everything done. I'm just waiting on it to start. I got the thermostat programmed. It found the outdoor unit, found the air handler. Really easy to do. So now we're just waiting on her to start, and we'll get y'all some footage when she does. All right, guys, she's running. And I'm barely talking. Isn't she loud? Look at that. This is unbelievable. What a machine. Unbelievable. All right, guys, it's ramping up. I'm gonna let it ramp up, do its thing, and we'll get back to y'all. All right, guys, I'm sitting in the shade, but she's still running. See right there, superheat's low, subcooling is a little too low, but I haven't figured out on the thermostat how to get in there and see what stage I'm in and all that. So I'm gonna figure all that out before I start, because it's calling for an 18-degree subcooling with the outdoor temperature. I'm gonna figure out how to get into the thermostat, see what stage we're in and all that good stuff, and then we'll go from there. Guys, there's the final product. Again, it's running. I'm standing right on top of it. It's doing a very good job of cooling the house and pulling the humidity down. I don't have enough words to say. I'm very impressed. But we'll talk more about that in the truck because it's hot out here. But I wanted to give y'all one last shot. All right, guys, so we're all done with the inverter. Now I am going back either Wednesday afternoon after I get done with the air temp job, or Thursday morning just to do a checkup, just to recheck everything. I want to recheck the Freon. I just want to go through everything. You know, I just want to make sure everything's working fine. But as far as the technology in the unit, oh man, I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, it was unbelievable. 2 wires outside, not 4, 2. You know, with Amana, you'd have to put a transformer in the unit to, you know, to get your red and common, but we didn't have to do none of that. I guess all that's built, well, I never did an inverter on Amana, so I could be wrong. I did 2-stage. But this was 2 wires, DX positive and DX negative. Very simple. On the condenser, you know, 4-wire hookup on the thermostat, red and common, DX negative, DX positive, same thing on the air handler. Air handler had a little plug, just like everybody's got the little green plug, looks like a little Lego piece. Simple. But I tell you what though, Carrier and ICP really make a nice air handler. I mean, their board, you know, with Goodman and Amana, their communicating boards are all the way in the back of the air handler. You know, they're a pain in the ass to get to if you ever got to service it. Carrier puts theirs right at the edge, right by, I mean, like when you take the door off, bam, it's right there in your face. And it's even like bent at an angle. That way, even if you're in an upflow position, it's not sitting flat like this, it's angled out to where it's kind of facing you. And same thing if you're in a horizontal position, it's bent down to where you can see it and service it and work on it. So Carrier and ICP really make a nice air handler. As far as the heat pump, you know, no contactor, none of that. Obviously, just had a terminal block for your 2 hot legs, and then you know, hook up your 2 low voltage wires, and it was simple. The thermostat couldn't have been simpler. You know, I mean, I remember doing the Goodman communicating systems. You know, y'all remember I made those memes a while back that said we have talking about Goodman. we have communicating systems that don't communicate, and what we have here is failure to communicate. You remember all that? Well, I mean, you know, because when you would turn a mana system on, the little buffer thing would buffer and buffer and buffer and buffer before it would find equipment. It took forever to find the damn equipment. Well, when I fired this system up, put the breakers on the thermostat, bam, it came on, it loaded the graphics or whatever, and then it said, looking for equipment. Fan coil found, bam, heat pump found, boom. I mean, it was so quick. I mean, so much easier than the Goodman Amana. So I was very impressed by that. And then when I fired the system up, you know, the variable speed fan motor is just absolutely quiet. The heat pump, and this is a 5-ton, you know, you can't hear the compressor. All you hear is the wind. You don't even hear the motor. You just hear the wind coming off the fan blades. I mean, y'all saw it. You saw it in the video. So I'm very impressed. You know, and I'm sorry it wasn't better video, guys, but I mean, I did what I could. You know, I didn't get any footage of the air handler, and I apologize for that. It was just too hot in the attic, guys. I mean, it's 98 degrees outside. I didn't pull a thermometer in the attic, but I'd imagine it was a good 130, 135 in that attic. And I mean, you know, we had a fan going, but, you know, blowing hot air on ourselves, but at least it made it bearable. You know, I don't know. It was better than nothing. It was better than no air moving, I guess. But anyway, very impressed with the inverter system. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get no footage of the air handler, but I wanted to do video on this system because, you know, for those of you that listen to the podcast and all that, know that, you know, me and Zach were kind of in a race to sell the first inverter, but Zach quit doing change outs. But it's still, it's bittersweet for me. It's been a long time coming. You know, ever since I went to class on the inverters a while back, I made my mind up that I wanted to sell one, and it never happened. It took a while, but it finally happened. So this is a bittersweet moment for me. I enjoyed every minute of it, except for the attic work, obviously. But a great system. And I look forward to going back Thursday to see how it's doing. And I'm even going to text the customer tomorrow and, you know, ask him and all that. And I will try to get some footage when I go back Thursday of maybe I can get some air handler footage. But I will definitely try to get footage to see how the system's performing. So anyway, that ought about do it for this one, guys. I'll also try to film the air temp job Wednesday. I'll see what I can do. It's in a closet, so hopefully I can film that job also. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching, and don't forget to tune into the podcast, Cowboys of HVAC podcast, every Monday. All right, guys. We'll see y'all on the next one.